Yeah, I think there was something on the weed. She's like, give me your phone. You have the app on your phone. Dude, I pull out my phone. It was like a spread deck of cards. I had like 1,000 phones. And so I'm like, I'm overwhelmed by how many phones I have. And I tell her like, yo, I'm like, here, fix it. I'm like, I don't know which phone to give her. she's like, just stop moving your hand. I'll take the phone.
Oh, we're running?
Oh, dude.
Nice. Oh, wait, let me make it clap. Nice. And I want to welcome everybody back to the HighCloud podcast. This time, we're back in English. We've been switching and going back and forth from Dutch to English and whatever. But I think for the occasion, we'd be best off sticking to fucking English, right?
Yeah, you don't want to hear my Dutch.
Because we're sitting here with my brother Alexander James. Thank you for making the time to be here with me today at the Kade. Alexander James, you might know him from Rightlinq Global on Instagram. Please go check it out. Go give the dude a follow, where he's busy trying to put people that need a job together with people that have jobs. You know, right?
Yes.
Short description.
Definitely, man. I think that's the way to put it.
Yeah, we've been hanging out for a few years now in this cannabis industry in Amsterdam, and I love to see the development you're going through at the moment with Rightlinq and everything, and you've been a big inspiration for me as well to get into the gym and everything. So I thought it was a perfect way. Now we're going closer to the end of the season to have a little inspirational guest here and talk about the possibilities of doing right and like making the right choices and see where that gets you instead of just, you know, because yeah, bro, for the people that don't know you, can you explain like where do you come from? What's been the trajectory up until now, bro?
Man, yeah, I mean, it's, I guess, to keep the long story short, how I ended up here, man, it's, you know, before the whole Cali-wave and before everything that's kind of going on now, even as just a stoner kid in America, I didn't know what the Netherlands was, but I knew the name Amsterdam, and I associated with weed, and it was just always in my head as long as I can remember. It was just Amsterdam, and it was always there and a thought for me. And thing is, I was actually adopted in Bermuda, and so because of that, I have a British passport.
Wow.
This comes into play later, obviously. But yeah, I mean, growing up, for me, the plant was always special to me because it really, I think we all go through a life, you have times ups and downs, and it was something that was always consistently there for me. And it was, whether I was living in a new place and I wanted to try to make friends or just honestly needed a hustle or a way to get by when times were tough, it was like I always had this plant to lean on. And it was, yeah, it's been a consistent part of my life. And it's like I've kind of followed that journey. And the way it led me here was, shit, it's about, in November, it'll be 12 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and
It's
so
quite some time.
yeah. It's a long time, my relationship here, but yeah, I mean, in this time, I was sitting in Orlando, Florida. I was going to school for horticulture, and what had happened was, I mean, around 15, 16, I'd already started to try to grow. And like growing up at this time, we were in Florida. Yeah. But the thing was, I wasn't growing up with the luxury of having really nice weed. It was like, my time was brick weed. It was like, we really had brick weed with seeds. It was compressed. It was...
Where was this, in Cali?
This is in Florida. This is pre-Cali. Yeah.
Okay.
So from Bermuda, adopted, went to Florida at a young age, and ended up growing up there with just my mom. She was also not from there, so I was illegal in Florida. I was growing up, and I was also dealing with the struggles of, being in a country that I'm not from. You know, I'm growing up there, but I'm not from there technically, my family. So like I said, you know, weed always kind of gave me a way to give me something to relate to make friends, etc., and kind of relate in a way where I couldn't. And, you know, 15, 16, I wanted to grow better weed, man. It was like I was seeing movies, I was seeing things, I was seeing some strains come around, but nothing like what was available to us. I was looking at High Times magazine and stuff, and I was seeing these strains, and I was like, where is this coming from? And I had older buddies and stuff. They were trying to grow, and I was really the guy that was like, internet was coming around. I was really getting into it, and so I got involved with IC Mag at that time. And I was already just a guy that was just looking for information. And even at this age, you know, I was thinking like, I want to grow. And at 16, I had moved out. I got my first place with 2 other roommates, and I put my first plants in my closet. And so, yeah, I had ordered some seeds off the internet. They came. It was great. I was showing everybody, like, I'd popped like 6 seeds or so, like 4 or 5 of them were coming up. I ended up keeping like 2. It's just in my closet. And like, I'm showing all my homies and stuff. And
you had
like,
a little lamp? You had a little lamp in the closet?
Yeah, HPS. Yeah. This is, just trying to manage the heat. If I'm honest, dude, at this time, like, I thought I knew what I was doing because I had been looking on the forums. I had no idea. I had nothing.
But you were the most experienced in your surroundings. Like you were doing it.
I was the one willing to like. I want to try this. There's only one way to get there. Yeah. And I was like, I was lucky. I had the luxury. Like I'd moved out early. I had my own place, so I didn't have someone to kind of be like a parent at the time to say, hey, you can't do this. So I started experimenting, and I mean, before I even probably hit flowering on those first plants, it's my house got broken into.
Oh, no way.
And so like they just broke my window. There's nothing to even steal yet, but it was like they broke my window, and then like they took the plant and stuff, and
because you were telling everybody, somebody thought like we're gonna fucking rob that dude.
I was young. I was
need
dumb.
those plants,
exactly.
Dude.
So
wow, that's stupid.
I learned that hard lesson there, though, and it was like from then on, when I was doing my home grows, allegedly, this is all just course stories.
Theoretically.
Yeah, just for entertainment. But I really learned
making
from
it
that
up as you go.
Yeah. Just stay very low, man. It was like, at this time, I took like probably a year off, and I was like, it was in the back of my head, but obviously left a bad taste. It was a whole headache, being robbed, etc. And then I was like, I didn't trust anyone around me.
I can imagine,
etc.
Yeah,
so I was like, all right, but I still had like, I wanted to do it. I was back to just buying what was available around me, and I didn't want that. And I wanted to have better. And so, once again, like later on, I moved out again. I was around 17, and I was like, I'm gonna try again, but I'm not gonna tell anyone. Like, I'm not gonna tell friends, family, anything. Like, I just really want to stay very, very low key with this, and and see what I can get. And at the time, it was like the first time I was trying to get more info other than the web. And so I went to a grow store. And like for me, the first time going to a grow store was like, I was already nervous. Like I didn't want to tell anyone. I'd already still had the bad experience, but I was like, man, I'm about to start this again. I kind of want like some more advice because more and more products, lights were coming onto the market then. And I'm looking on the forums. There's obviously a ton of debate going on. What's the best? And so I'm like, man, I want to try and get some clarity. And so from the grow store, it was like, the world kind of changed a bit. In the beginning, I went like, for a friend, or just hypothetically, like if I was
what
to
if
do
I
this?
was to grow a plant, like a cannabis plant? yeah, I get you.
Yeah, and then like watching my back the whole ride home, like I asked about one light, like I'm under investigation now, And so but from there I was like, oh man, there is other passionate people, you know what I mean? Because I met these guys at the grow store, and that had kind of really sparked the interest, and I had some information. I went with a new setup. I had done soil, obviously the one thing in my closet, but now I was gonna try some hydroponics. Deep water culture. Okay. And so, I was doing a whole A and B recipe. And that's that time,
for the people that don't know, that's when you hang the plants directly into buckets of water that you just refresh with fresh water with nutrients. And then the water runs out and you filter that, make it fresh again with new nutrients. And that's hydroponics. The roots
whole
directly into the water.
Yeah, exactly. And at that time, it was like... I wouldn't say it's new, but it was like being explored much more. And the reason I bring this up, because it kind of leads me into what leads me here. At that time, I was doing the deep water culture, and I'm also just getting ready. I finished school, and I'm like, I should study something. And the thing was, like, I wanted money for my grow. And the thing is, I'll be totally honest, in America, if you go to school, you're gonna get a check. You gotta pay it back, but you're gonna get money for school and for your you know, your life and everything. And I knew a lot of people that had kind of gotten chunks of money. They did different things with it, but I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna use that chunk, and I'm gonna start this new grow. And at that time, I was like, what the hell do I even want to go to school for? Because I honestly wasn't that interested in school. I loved learning, but I wasn't interested in the system. Yeah. But I was like, I'm gonna study horticulture, because that's gonna make me a better grower, right? You know, it's like, I was like, I might as well study something that's going to kind of help my craft and build my passion. Yeah. And so at that time, I started studying for horticulture, and I'm now starting to push the deep water culture, the hydroponics more, and I needed an RO system, reverse osmosis. And so I was looking into the filters and everything. I found a place locally, and I was like, I want to, I'm gonna go there and buy my unit. At that time, I went to buy a unit, and I spoke with them, and I started to see everything they had going on. They were doing all their units in-house. They were working for hospitals. They were working for SeaWorld. They were working for huge agriculture. Okay. And their other brand new part of business was all of these cannabis growers from California. But they didn't want to deal with it because they were very much a very kind of this side company. We're also in Florida at the time. They don't want to touch this. But they were interested, and they knew this market was here. So
but they didn't have the feeling with that part of like business, like the cannabis business. They were like, man.
I think the people there, they were passionate about it, but they were scared of the risk. They're building their business, a very normal business, and they're like, if we get too involved in that side, maybe it's going to cause an issue for our business, you know, etc. Yeah. And so we end up speaking all this, and I only went there to buy my water unit to filter my water. And I ended up, they said, we want you to do sales for us. We just had a great conversation. They said, we want you to handle all the California customers. Okay. So at this time, I start learning about water, and I mean like all in on water. And it's everyone that's calling me is from Cali or from Colorado, because Colorado's turning on at the moment. And I was basically in charge of all the growers that were calling in with their water problems. And so I dealt with all kinds of people, all kinds of water problems, and it basically starts with, yeah, I mean, not to go too much into water, but water is, it goes so deep, especially when you're dealing with city water, well water. There's so many things that are in your water. It isn't just a flat base, you know? No,
I think that looking at especially the Dutch cannabis consumers, a lot of people know that because of the, for example, the bad Spanish weed we used to get because of the water quality there. People used to use like the normal tap water, and that was terrible for the cannabis. It always left a certain freaky taste, like, and, totally. And now we see that people use filtered water, different types of water, and it's really starting to get better. You know,
it's a huge piece.
Important.
It really is, and I didn't even understand on that level until I went into it. You know, and it was like you said, and it's funny you mentioned that, because when I came here, a lot of the first questions I got when people learned I knew about water was, hey, I'm a Dutch grower, but now I'm in Spain and I'm having problems. I'm doing all my same recipe, all my same thing, and I'm like, and you're still getting water from the tap, and I'm like, do you know how vastly different? Like, Netherlands is some of the best water in the world, if you didn't know. It's like, and in Spain, any hot country, they use chlorine in the water. It's a major issue, you know.
In Portugal, when I turn on the tap, I freaking smell the chlorine coming from the tap. People telling me, yeah, it's safe to drink, like for robots maybe, but not for me, brother. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's a complicated subject, but I love it, man. And the thing was, so I had my home grow going on at this time, but I was also starting to see, oh wow, there's like there's some, you can do some business, you can do actually some things and build like a kind of a real foundation in this industry. You know, that's when I kind of looked like, oh, an industry. You know, I was like, oh wow, there's people that are growing there. There's people supplying the goods, and
there's more than just like the plant being grown and smoked. There's a whole system behind it. Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, I think you would understand. But we were all, for me, I was passionate about cannabis always, but people always look down on it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You could do something great in your field, and someone would be like, yeah, you're doing criminal activity or something. No matter even, and you're you're like, I'm doing a real business, and they're like, no, this is cannabis, not a real thing. And so I saw for the first time, hey, these guys are doing this, and they're getting respect for it, and they're like, they're able to stand up and be proud of what they do. And I was like, man, this is interesting. And so to cut it quick again, I'm at the company. I'm doing very well. I'm dealing with all the Cali. I'm doing trips now to Cali. Yeah, a lot of people wanted to send me product. I told them, please. They're like, oh,
don't.
You fixed all my water.
Yeah, see the samples.
Yeah,
No, I'm good, brother.
I'm like, wait till I'm there locally. And yeah, I really got at this point where I was like, okay, right now I really want to take this to the next level. And I was like, either Colorado had just really came online. I was now developing this relationship, going back and forth to Cali. And I was like, I'm either going to go to Colorado, California, or out of nowhere, my buddy goes, man, why don't you go to Europe? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you have that British passport. And I was like, what does that mean? And, you know, exactly. And I'd never thought about it. He's like, dude, you could live anywhere in the European Union.
This was pre-Brexit.
Yeah. Pre-Brexit. And I thought, man, I started looking, what's in Europe, actually? Americans, you know? What is all of it? And I started looking, and I honestly filtered by English.
Europe is the capital of Amsterdam, actually.
You mean Amsterdam's not the country? And I filtered by English, and Netherlands, man. It's like it's ranked up there, top 3, you know, for countries that speak English in Europe. And I was like, what's Netherlands? Amsterdam. And I was like, damn, man. And I was like, I want to go to Cali, I want to go to Colorado, but I was like, where did they start? And I was like, I'd always heard the stories of those guys going to Amsterdam and the seed banks and like following all the IC Mag and the High Times. I was like, all of the story starts in the Netherlands, you know, in Amsterdam and yeah, all the other cities here. And it was like, I was really in that moment. I was like, I'm going to make a choice in my life. And the company at the time, they were like, why are you leaving? Everything's going great and everything. But I was like, I just feel like if I stay here, like, I don't know, I'm going to have a wife, a house, and a career and be set. And that may sound amazing, but I was so
never
scared.
Leave.
Yeah, I was like, it's going to be game over. And I was like, there's so much more to do. And in that time, I just bought a one-way ticket to Amsterdam. And I decided Amsterdam, and I started selling all my stuff, and I ended my contract at my place. I told my job, I told my friends, everybody, I'm going to Amsterdam. And they're like, for how long? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I have a one-way ticket, but I'm just going to go, and if it goes bad, I'll be back, you know? And I was like, I'm just going to go. I have the passport. I can work there. I'll figure out the life. And so, yeah, that kind of began my journey of why I came here. And this is 2013 that I
Crazy,
November,
bro.
man, and I jump on a one-way ticket.
Ballsy move, bro. Very ballsy move, man.
You know, everyone says that. They're always like, you're brave or this and that, but like I tell everyone, please, like if you're ever, don't create your own obstacles. Just go. I wasn't brave. I just knew that your life is still there. Whatever you're doing, it's not like you give up one for the other. You can just go. Just go, and if it doesn't work out, you learn something and you go back and you rebuild and you decide whether it's for you or for not. So I wasn't that afraid, and I don't feel like it was like a courageous thing. But a lot of people are always like, man, it's so brave, you leave your life. But no, you just got to go for it, man.
There's a lot of people afraid to take risks, right? It's a risk, and then you have to rebuild. Like, just rebuild. A lot of people would be like, I'd rather not. Like, you know, but that's having an entrepreneurial mind and being ambitious and curious and wanting to see more of the world. You're also a traveler. You love to see different parts of the world. We see you going all over the place, finding the best smoke spots and climbing up to the craziest views. So that's dope to see, man. And then from when you got to Amsterdam, how did you get into this part of our industry? I mean, so in that time, because sorry to interrupt, but it's a pretty closed loop, like the Dutch cannabis system, especially back then. It was very close. Like a lot of people were on their own islands, and it's difficult to get in. How did you do that?
And I would say it was almost like non-existent, I would say. Or at least when I compare it to how it is now, it was almost non-existent. Like obviously I had been building the relationship with California. I'd seen everything going on there with the medical and everything. So I was coming to Netherlands, Amsterdam, like, dude, this is going to be the king. All the strains are here.
Everything's happening
like,
there.
Yeah, they're already dabbing in California this time. BHO and stuff is coming. So I'm like, I'm going to get there. I'm going to go to coffee shops. There's going to be dabs on the menu. I'm gonna, yeah, so I pull up, dude, and I'm like, oh, lemon haze. Yeah.
PP, White Widow.
And this was that time. This is before the whole Cali-wave.
Yeah,
Cali was not even thought of in Netherlands at this time. When I came, it was really, and don't get me wrong, the haze, the lemon haze, the super silvers, all that.
Import weed was looked down on. Like, import weed was how this all started. And back then, people had the illusion that everything from abroad was fucked up. Like looking at even the Spanish weed coming in, you know, but also the Thai, the Jamaican, the whatever. Like, that wasn't the best weed around anymore. The Dutch was killing it back then.
Yes.
For the Dutch, like, but then the whole Cali thing started out. But please continue. Yeah.
No, and I think you hit on it exactly. It was like they were the kings for a while. You know what I mean? When I came, even then, it was like the Cali thing was just taking off. So like there were some nice strains, but they were not readily available like this. You came here, a good super silver, a good super lemon was all over the country, always consistently, and it was like I think they got comfortable with that situation, and then they didn't realize what was going on in Cali, you know? And it was at least from what I was seeing here, was a lot of owners that had a good situation, a good shop location, and so you didn't really need the passion or the drive to build business and bring customers in. The customers were there at the door. Yeah. You could tell them, you go away, you come in, you go away, you go, and you'll still have plenty of customers every day.
Always
aligned. You could sell worse quality, anything, and that creates comfort. And I think the system worked, but I was obviously a little disappointed. I was like, man, where are all the things? But no problem.
Where are all the things?
I was like, I was coming for the dream, man. The dream. But no, I mean, there's a positive to every side, and I think what I saw then was a massive opportunity, man. And I was like, well, the things are not here. I was like, I'm gonna try to bring them here, and I'm going to try to transfer what knowledge I'm seeing and what's going on in Cali, and I want to try and bring that over here and start to catch up, and then basically bring information back and forth. You know, that's how things level up worldwide, science, everything, sharing minds, sharing information, sharing strains,
ideas,
sharing techniques. It's why make two people figure something out? If one can figure something, the other can figure another. And then come together and move forward. And so with that, like I said, dabs were going crazy, and of course, this is all made up just for entertainment. But,
of course, and it's all for yard. So it's all before, like, we can't even fucking forget about it. It's all fake.
This is a great story.
But
at this time, it was like I said, the dabs. That was the big thing, BHO and everything. And I was like, it is not here. It's beyond me. It's going crazy in the U.S. And so at that time, I decided to take it on myself to do extractions, and I was doing closed loop extraction. I had seen people were doing like open blasting and things like that, but I was really a person that was like, look at a way to do it correctly. You know what I mean? And it's like, and do it safely. And
open blast is when you just blast the butane through a container with cannabis, and then the butane comes out as a liquid, and then they're open, and all the gas just fucking fills the room and everything, right?
I mean, and that's the danger,
and in a closed loop, everything happens inside a machine, and then you just open it up, and there it is, safe and sound, if you do it correctly.
Yes, it's much more contained, but you're also dealing with pressure. So there is there is the other struggles that come with it, you know. And it's I'm honestly glad we're at a time where it's kind of started to pass, you know. Like it can be done, but there was all the horror stories, apartments blowing up, things like that
happened.
And so of course the whole time doing the BHO, it's an anxiety thing, you know. I would use static wristbands, everything. I was because man, one spark can really be the difference. And you know, I was also from the water business. I understood you can do something, you can do it right. There's layers of filtration. It honestly, it helped me a lot when I went to building the closed loop and why I did. But as I'm doing that and I'm starting to create products, I'm finding other people that are on this same path. And it's like there wasn't many at that time. One of them I met was Anders at that time, and he was one of the few guys that in that time, big shout out to Anders. I mean, that guy is a visionary, long time, since way back, and like he was one of the guys really sharing the ideas. He was also watching what was going on in Cali, and he's like, I know, man, this stuff isn't here. I'm also trying to do chocolates and edibles and the other things because you still have just the basic space cake here. He was trying to see gummies and stuff, and so naturally by trying to do these, you know, or what I would say, what is the future of cannabis, I attracted those people that were also doing it because, like you said, it was such a small community. It was like, oh, someone else is doing this? Like, I want to see what's going on as well. And another guy at the time, I have to mention Tom, HHQ Tom. He was there, Diamond Knots. It was he was another guy that was kind of around that area that was dabbing. I couldn't find a lot of dabbers.
Canic Exports, whatever.
Oh man, it's if I think of some of the names then and like how it's changed, it's amazing, dude. It's like it's really also crazy how everything changed. There was a pushback for so long, and then after so many years, it just flipped. And it's like it was the same with the whole Cali-wave, you know, because shortly after the extracts started to come the flower, you know, and it was if I'm honest, UK really set that wave off, or at least in my opinion at the time. This was like cookies was big then, you know what I mean, like as a brand, as a flower brand. Team 10 was an extract company. This was and I mean these are the kind of guys that I was looking up to in that time because this was Shatter, this was Vax, this was like these were the peers of the time.
Team 10 extracts, they were there. It was one of the first, absolutely.
No, 100%. Definitely. And I remember that was also to see their journey as well. You know, that it was a big part because it was like you had these small group of people, especially in Europe, that if anyone was kind of seeing the wave that was coming, we were getting together and we were having those discussions, and it was that was kind of what brought me into the community originally.
Cool. And now you've been here for quite some time, and now that the whole Cali wave and everybody knows where to get their shit and whatever, you started to develop a different direction for yourself, bringing people together. Like companies with people looking for cool ass jobs in the industry, because during your time here and overseas and whatever, you've built some connections. Can you tell me about how that plan started and how that's rolling out now?
Definitely, man. Yeah, with Rightlinq, it's with like you said, I travel around a lot. I was experiencing the plant in different stages all around the world, and I was sharing those experiences with other passionate people. And of course, they're like, "Wow, you know, this is amazing. Like, I want to be involved." And there's a lot of people that I was seeing around me that are like, "Hey, I always had a passion for this, but like, I chose the safer route," which is no problem. You know what I mean? It's like, for us in our time, maybe family, friends, city's going to look down on you. You're doing, you know what I mean? It wasn't looked at as a legal industry. So there's people that kind of wanted to do something in this industry but felt they weren't allowed maybe, you know? And it's like, I meet those people and they're like, man, now I feel like we're at a time, the stigma's starting to break, and I want to be involved. This is actually my passion. I've been going to school for this and studying this and working here, but my passion is in here. And I was like, how do I connect these people, or how do I help them get an opportunity?
I think that really what you said earlier is that I think a lot of people are starting to realize what you realized back in the day, is that there's more than just a plant being grown, sold, and smoked. There's a whole industry surrounding it, and we're actually trying to expand that cannabis industry by doing what we do with the media, showing what the possibilities are. The legal industry is growing. There's like HR managers in the cannabis industry in the Netherlands now, you know? I mean, that if people management is your shit, or finances, you can get into financial management in the cannabis industry legally. You don't have to count like illicit money. You can do it legally now, you know? There's a lot of fun stuff to do now in this evolving industry, and I think that's a awakening we see happening in a lot of people that want to join that industry, coming from their own talents and interests, you know? And I feel that's really cool that you built a platform to make that happen and connect those two, because there is a lot of cool stuff to do, and we need hands to build the industry further, because as we see with some of the legal growers at the moment, if they run into problems with their capacity, like they can't grow more because they don't have the hands to process all that flower, then they can't grow the amount they need for them to even exist within the experiment. So we need cool people to step up and fill those spots that are coming available right now, right?
It's totally true. And I think it's a big point what you said is about, I think a lot of people were kind of blocked off to the idea that cannabis industry job isn't just growing and selling weed. There's so everything, you know, it's whether
IT.
transporting, finances, IT, exactly. And yeah, you know, really the way Rightlinq was born was, I have to shout out to my girl. You know, she is a corporate recruiter here in the Netherlands. She works with some of the biggest retailers, and she does this freelance. And I saw the whole background of recruiting, and I really saw day-to-day process, what she was doing, and I thought, man, how could I do this for the cannabis industry? And man, I've really also been blessed that she's helped me a ton with also dealing with the whole non-cannabis side, because my specialty is bringing the network and people that are cannabis related. But like you said, there's HR managers, there's other things of people that want to be involved, and she's been able to help me help them in a way better way that I couldn't have.
Cool.
And so it's yeah, it's a big part of it is yeah, I have to say thanks to her, because I saw the idea and I thought, man, I want to make something like this and do it specifically for the cannabis industry and try to get my friends in good positions. And yeah, it's the big thing for me is like we are moving to a point where if we want to be able to fund our own projects and do our own things and not have to depend on sometimes outside input or capital from, you know, people that we don't necessarily have a shared vision with, then we all need to together get on the same level and be able to do these things ourselves. And so it's not just about coming up yourself, it's about helping all the people around you in the industry, because any business you do, there's a bunch of moving parts. And I'd rather that each moving part that I move to or speak to is another person that also shares the same passion. And whether you're a clothing company, it's great to call the guy who prints clothing and he's also passionate. And your supplier's passionate, and you know, whatever you're doing, it's just like we need to help each other get into those positions so that when you're like, I want to do an event, I want to sponsor, I'm going to call all my buddies because we're all doing well together and we're going to do something great. And we're not going to have our vision controlled by someone who necessarily we didn't want but we need. And yeah, I think that's what I can do a big thing with Rightlinq, is just trying to put people where they're passionate, help them level up, and then we all can sit at the top of this thing together, I hope.
That's really a beautiful vision, bro. That's a nice drive to do this, I think. And that is so, like, every person we talk to that has success in a certain field, it always comes down to this same thing, and that's passion, you know. And it's so crazy that it keeps coming up as one of those important elements in being successful in your field. It's just being passionate about it. And that makes one of the cliches true, is that if you do something you love, like it'll bring something to sustain you
totally.
at the end, you know.
Passion is the key, you know.
It's always the key. What I wanted to ask you, bro, what are some of the most surprising jobs that you helped fill in the cannabis industry? Have you been surprised?
If I'm honest, like I said, like getting approached with like HR managers and things like this, because yeah, for me it's like this is very much out of my realm. Like I understand, like while I studied horticulture, I studied business. I understand business side, but I'm a comedian also. I'm the worst person for HR. So positions like that were not something that I anticipated, you know? And it's like an opportunity comes in, you don't want to drop the ball on it. So it's, I was happy when I was able to also play a part in filling those roles, because then it also opened my mind a bit, like, hey, everyone doesn't need to be a consumer or something. You can be passionate about this industry in your own way. And I've placed people that don't smoke, but they're like, hey, cannabis, I had a family member, you know, dealing with cancer or something, and it's like they said, hey, I don't know if this stuff works, but it created relief for this family member, and it helped them and helped us, and they're like, I'm passionate about it. I don't smoke all the time or anything, but I love what you guys are doing. I want this industry to be accessible to everyone. I want to be a part of that. I want to do HR, for example. And it's like, yeah, there's cool ways that I've been surprised that people want to get involved that aren't necessarily your normal people who you would assume want to be involved, you know?
Cool. Do you have more of those examples, like the HR one? What other kinds of funny jobs have you helped fill out in this new space?
If I'm honest, it's been a lot of just the standard jobs for the industry. I haven't had too many crazy.
There's a lot of
yet.
growers needing like help with processing and stuff right now, right?
Yeah, I mean the real interesting thing is, of course, the experiment. You know, that has been the biggest thing with Rightlinq. It's I also. I see now that like everyone is at the point where their facilities are coming online. They're really starting to fill in their staff, and we are in a crucial moment where all of these staff members need to be filled in one time. You know, it's like in a year from now, you'll never hire this many staff again. But it's like at this moment, people are really setting up their foundation, and it's like you're putting the bricks in for what everything is going to stand on, and it's a very, very crucial time. And that's like I said, going back to building this all to where we can be together at the top. Now is the moment where you're putting the bricks in place for who is going to be there later at the top. If these first 10 licenses are the biggest Dutch producers in the Netherlands later, who's going to have been there from the beginning? Let's put the right people in there, and let's build this together in that way. And it's really interesting, and it's exciting because we're finally at a time in Europe. Like I said, I've been waiting now like 10 years. Like, when are the things coming? The things are coming now. Germany's turning on. The facilities are here. The things are coming, and it's like people sometimes get a little bit bummed out in progress when you're local or you're looking only from the bubble here, but when you're looking in the grand scheme of things, when I look 10 years ago to now, wow, man, the progress, the community, everything. Beautiful. It's beautiful, bro. It's where we are in the moment, man. Europe's history is being made right now.
We're there. And for people that want to get into that and want to be a part of that, what would you advise them?
Big tips that I always try to give people is I think people directly want to think about their cannabis related knowledge, which of course is important, and to touch on that also a bit, some people are fearful of putting their knowledge, and all I would recommend is especially for legal jobs and stuff, you're gonna have to say you have that experience, but there's a professional way and a good way to put that on a resume without incriminating yourself or etc. And like that's some of the things I help people with. They send me their CV. I say, okay, we don't have to say this, or you can say this, because sometimes people have great qualities and they're scared and they leave it out, and they're like, I'm like, but you told me you did this. Like I grew, I was a home grower myself, or I helped some guys do some things for years, and they're like, but they don't want to put any of that experience. But I'm like, you're going for a growing job. You know what I mean? Like,
this is what they need.
I know. It's like, I don't want to tell you like put something crazy, but there's a way to do it. So I think if you are going to,
you can be creative with your formulation.
Yeah, be creative and definitely think of a way to highlight the processes. You know, if you were dealing with pests, you know, for example, we're looking for an IPM person at the moment.
Can we get some more water?
Yes. But yeah, there's a way to, you know what I mean? You can also title that if you were dealing with specific pests or dealing with specific diseases in your time and your experience, highlighting what you were doing and the process you were going through, you know, that's really, that's going to play a crucial role into you getting the position. But also beyond that is think outside of cannabis. I always tell people, what can you bring to the industry that's not cannabis? We have a lot of it. We have a lot of great cannabis guys and experts, but it's like, well, are you bringing videography? Are you bringing some other skill? Are you good
what are
finances?
Your talents? I know you can smoke a joint, but what else can you do?
Exactly, man. And it's like,
I've been smoking for 15 years and I want to get into the industry. Okay, what do you want to do?
I want to get paid to smoke weed. I'm like, no.
We can't all be Uncle Kush.
The job's taken, bro.
I'm sorry, bro. Maybe in a few years when I'm tired of it. But that's what I try to tell people as well, because I get those questions a lot as well. Like, how can I get into the industry? I'm like, figure out something you like to do and try to put that into the cannabis space. Like, you like making pictures, go take pictures in a grow or whatever, or you know, or you like retail, try working in a coffee shop or in the family first concept store or a seed shop or something else cool, or go work at Sensi Seeds in the seed shop, you know, or go work at Mascotte if you like to do paper stuff or whatever, or sales, you know, want to visit shops all day, sit in the back just like Jack Guimon, you know, visit coffee shops and just sit around, smoke joints, and talk shit and get paid.
Everybody wants that job.
Everybody wants to be Jack, you know.
Let us know when you're hiring, Jack. But no, it's true, and I think bringing the other skills is a big thing, and I think sometimes people assume, oh, I have to step away from this and do the industry, but you can combine them. You know what I mean? Bring your skills and your talents, your passion from the other industry, and connect it. You know,
100%, 100%. No, that's a beautiful thing. Or try to create it yourself, you know? Try to create something from your own ideas and creativity if you have the means and the time for it, or create the means and the time for it, you know? Just try to prioritize your dreams before anything else. Do that first. And I think that's something that you inspire a lot of people to do at the moment. You definitely inspire me and keep pushing me to do. You wake up on ungodly hours.
We have to talk about the 4:30.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes too late. Like this guy gets up at 4:30. So imagine you're a motivational active stoner and you set your alarm at 4:30.
No alarm either, by the way.
Who are you to not do it at 4:20, bro? You should have just go for it. You know?
Yeah, I know. I did mess up. 10 minutes earlier. At least I could have both 420s every day.
Know? No, but how did that whole thing start with you waking up that early and going out, climbing, biking, eating healthy, but still doing everything high? Because I see you post a joint at 4:30. I see you rolling up.
So here's the thing. Two things. One, I was not always this guy. I was the opposite of this guy, which
yeah, you had a bit more my physique,
bro,
right?
I was at my top. I was around 310 pounds, like around 150 kilo.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm almost half of that now.
Crazy.
But and at that time I woke up at 12, man. I woke up at 1, you know. But yeah, when it all started, honestly, was I told myself at 30, I was like, I'm gonna flip the switch, and I just really told myself leading up to 30, I was like, at 40, I want to be in the best shape of my life. I just made this decision in my head, and like at that time before, like I was smoking cigarettes, bro. And let me tell you, I'd never smoked cigarettes in America. I came to the Netherlands and started smoking cigarettes.
It's Europe, bro.
Crazy.
That
was
people
the culture
do.
then. When I would smoke pure when I first got here, people would say, you're crazy smoking pure. It'll make your head go crazy. Yeah, you Americans are crazy. It makes you cough. It kills you. So I couldn't share my joints with anyone. And then they would want to pass me with tobacco. And I was like, no. And it was like I had this weird social block. Like it was, the whole thing was gone. And so, man, I started smoking spliffs and then
just cigarettes. To blend in.
Yeah. Oh man, we're
fucked up.
But
terrible.
Yeah. Once again, man, shout out Anders, bro. He was like, "What are you doing, bro?" He's like, "I'm getting on the pure train and pure." And he's like, "You're starting." He's like, "What are you doing? You're backwards." And he was like, "Man, you got to stop this, dude." And at that moment, I just really, it was getting closer, and I was starting to think. And this is the time that Calis were really just starting to come to Netherlands. And I was like smoking those pure, you know, because it was like you didn't want to mix tobacco with those. They were also coming at a cost.
Too tasty.
Very tasty, very expensive. So you were like, you wanted to do it. And then I was thinking, man, why did I ever start smoking cigarettes? And I really started just thinking about everything, man. I thought about, you smell bad, it kills you, it costs you money. And it was like, I just really woke up and I felt like, it's like you realize you've been scammed. And you're like, oh shit, that guy's been scamming me for like last 3 years, 4 years. And then I was like, man, at 30, I'm just gonna cut it off, dude. And at midnight, I never looked back. And my other homie, Miles, shout out Miles. He was also my first placement at Rightlinq here at the Kade, by the way.
Yeah.
Shout out. But,
that Miles.
That Miles, yeah. He told me, I said, you're gonna quit with me, my birthday, dude. And he said, yeah. And he hasn't smoked either since.
Dope.
And yeah, man. But at that moment, I was like, I'm never looking back, dude. And it was, I left it, bro. And that was it. And from that moment, I was like, I'm gonna start getting up early. I'm gonna start changing some things. I'm gonna start drinking water. And like, I was really like, man, I want to be healthy, dude. And like at that time in my life, I didn't think it was possible, bro. I just always told myself, I don't have the genetics, I don't have this, I'm just not made for that. I'm not a morning person, not an active person, whatever it was. I had all the excuses. And still today, bro, I wake up and I'm, who is this guy, bro? The guy you guys all know, I don't know who I am, man. It's like, I never thought I would be like this. And it was a slow journey, dude. It was just slowly cutting things off. And there's times I went back, bro, I got heavy again. I didn't eat right. And you just, you don't lose hope, bro. And you just really stay consistent. And bro, the health is the real wealth. It's really, at the end of the day, man. And it's like, I was so, I don't know how I changed it, and I was so happy that like it worked, that I was like, man, I want to influence other people to do that. And I was like, even if like one thing I say changes one person's life, like that's enough for me. And just more and more people started saying, man, like you're inspiring me, you know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Like if you can just do some stuff and make people's life better, like, well, why would you stop doing that? And I'm like, why shouldn't everyone do that? That's,
you owe it to us.
Yeah. But I do that. I'm at this point where I feel accountable. It's like I'm almost like, man, all these people have like, dude, you've inspired me to change. Like if I go back, I'm not letting myself down, I'm letting everyone down. And so it's like, it's not only for me, it's for everybody. And it's like, it's cool, man.
No, and I've been getting the same now that I've been going to the gym for a year and a half now. Been a little less active the last few months because I've had an injury, and that was fucked up. Then you know, it's terrible to go and just come back and be hurting more. So that's terrible. But getting back on the horse now, and people start messaging me again like, oh, you really inspire me, thanks to you. I also went back on the treadmill, lost fucking 10 kilos in 2 months and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, bro, now I have to go tomorrow again, you know, just to show that I've been and I'm doing it as well. And like, we're doing it together now, you know. But
isn't that great? You know? I mean, what a better like social pressure to start. Like, everyone should just kind of be pressuring each other. Hey, let's all be a little healthier, you know.
Yeah, like, that's instead of taking another shot and going, home later and calling someone for something and shit, you know.
I love it, bro. I love to see your journey. Yeah, I'm one of you. I'll message you also, dude. I like.
Yeah, you message me like, hey, when you going to the gym, whatever.
Yeah, because it's like sometimes that's all it takes, man. And it's like, and it's good, bro. And it's I love to see it. I love to see people changing. And like, I have to say though, like, like you said, I wake up 4:30, I smoke, but the thing is like, it's a medicine for me, you know. And it's like all medicines, people are affected differently. I'm not gonna tell everybody you need to wake up 4:30, smoke, then go start running. Like that's what works for me. That's kind of like my system. But it's something.
And what does it do for you, like as a medicine? You think
in that moment, in the morning?
In the morning,
for me, like. Obviously, as an entrepreneur and my natural like personality, I'm a very buzzing person. My brain is always going with ideas, with things, with everything. And I think, especially with like the workout, I like to work out in the morning. And I think what stops you from anything is yourself, or obstacles, overthinking. So if you start waking up and thinking, man, I don't want to run today, I don't want to do this. Me, I wake up, I smoke, and it kind of just quiets all that. I don't even think, and I'm just zoned out. I put on the music, and before I can even think about if I want to do it or not, I'm just gone, man. And by the time you kind of come back, you're like, all right, I've gotten it in. Like, get started with my day, you know? But that's what it does for me, and that's kind of why I wake up and smoke, because all those voices, like, man, it's a little bit cold, or I don't want to run, or like, take a rest day to day, make it up on the weekend. You know, all the excuses come.
It's just a routine. You quiet the mind and just go for it.
And I zone out, and it's always been the medicine for me, man. It's also with the hard times in life, man. You know, I think I'm very happy and blessed where I'm at right now, and it's like there's definitely times in my life that I never thought I'd be sitting here, man. I didn't think I'd make it past 18, and it's like I feel very blessed and honored to be here and in this situation and with good people around me and everything. And it's like there was times when it was tough, man. And it's like I think in life, everyone, you go through struggles, and those struggles can really be the moment that make you or break you, man, because something can sometimes discourage you so much that you just give up on something. And it's like that a lot of times comes from those thoughts and that voice. And it was like in those moments when that stress was building up and everything seems like you can't take it no more, you know, like if one more bad thing happens and then 3 more bad things happen, it was like those moments I could smoke, man, and just quiet that and really like, all right, breathe for a second and like take the pressure off and be like, what do I really need to do in this situation before all that pressure comes back on? And it's like you step out of the box, at least for me, and I smoke and I can step out and step away from the emotion that's kind of controlling that situation. Then
I recognize that, and the trick there is to use it as a tool to quiet the mind a little bit, for you to regain control over what's happening when it gets too much, and not zone out too much, that you cannot handle that shit anymore. It can be a great fuck it tool, but that's not the case. You know, you don't do it like that, because then it will fuck up your life. But when shit gets too much and you just meditate with your medication, sit back and relax, use the creativity that flows through the mind to think about possibilities, think about how else you could manage things and get to the point where you want to be at and get the results that you want to get, instead of being stuck in the same situation. Because that's the thing, cannabis can help either way. It can help you get even more stuck in your situation, or it can help you get more creative, motivated, and out there to do something nice with your life. We see it with a lot of people coming into the industry right now, thinking about cool stuff they could do to add into the community, add something, and just making their money, just going from shop to shop, making videos or doing inspections or whatever, you know. And that's the creativity that cannabis can give you.
I love it, man. I love it.
You know? And that's something that I think is very important to touch on, and I'm glad you said that. Like, it is something that you can use to encourage yourself and be more creative and manageable, but it can also be like
a balance. Everything's balanced in life. Yeah, you don't want to lean, like you said, it can be a good fuck it thing. And you can get to the point where you're like, I'm not going to step out of the box and look at this thing. I'm just going to keep stepping out of the box and forgetting about it.
Exactly.
And it's like, with anything, you don't abuse it. It's like medicine. You don't want to take too much. It's, there's
because
a time
after
and a place.
the run, you could also go sit on the couch, smoke another few and do nothing. But you go do other cool shit, you know? You go out there, you go climbing, you go working, you go networking, you go to meetings, you find out cool stuff you want to do.
Now,
you run around on the festivals in the summers.
Yeah, man, the entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm in a relationship with another entrepreneur, so it's just chaos.
Constantly buzzing.
Yeah, all new things going. Yeah, we have no sleeping hours. It's like business, morning till night, work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely find the balance, but it's just one of those things, man. It comes with it, and I try to keep busy because I really feel like, man, we are at such a cool time. Like I said, this is the history of cannabis. It's like, man, just grind. Like, what are your dreams? Just go for it all in, man. We can have some relaxed hobbies and stuff later. You know what I mean? We'll fly some RC planes, but now just grind, man. Go for it. Go for it with everything you got, whatever your passion is. Yeah. Figure it out. Even if it doesn't work out, like I really always tell people, failure is the fuel of success, man. It's like you really have to look, and what doesn't work, man, it's like it can sometimes teach you what will. Yeah,
absolutely. And the most of the entrepreneurs that are successful will tell you that they have been flat on their face, they have been broke, and they have lost a lot of money, you know, have lost millions to make billions, you know. That's how it works. You have to fucking go out there and try and do cool stuff, and that goes with a lot of things. Like, you're not focused on only Rightlinq or only this, only that. You also do comedy, something that you just enjoy to do, but eventually might also, you know, bring in some extra whatever, or maybe a new career path. Because how you've always done comedy?
No, man, that was
you've been doing it in the States back then.
Yeah, I did start it back then. So, man, the whole thing with comedy was, I didn't realize at the time, but I never had an art. I don't play an instrument. I don't paint. I don't draw. And I was literally I was
non-creative.
No, I was very creative, but I just didn't have an outlet. But I would always think of myself as I didn't have an art, you know. Yeah. And man, I was in San Diego at the time. I was doing consulting in LA, like for solventless labs, and I was driving back and forth. But when I would go to LA, sometimes I would go see comedy shows. And I was at the point back in San Diego, and I go to a little strip, and there was a comedy club opening. It was gonna be called Grand Comedy Club, and people were always like, "Oh, you should do comedy and stuff," because I love, if I'm with friends, you know, man, I just love cracking up. I love joking,
teasing people,
roasting, exactly.
Going back and forth a little bit.
All, you know,
100%, bro. Always a good time when we're out together, bro. 100%.
It's it. We got enough times to be sad in life that like laugh as much as you can.
Yeah,
and it was people were always like, "You should try that." And like, I seen this comedy club was open. I was like, man, maybe I'll try to go to an open mic. And so I went in there and I told the guy, "When's this thing gonna open? When's the open mic?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna open in like 2 weeks or something. Come try." And I was like, "All right, man, I'm gonna try comedy, man." And this is probably, it's about 2 years before pandemic, maybe around 2018, 2019. And so I go in, man, and like I just wrote some stuff that I felt was funny and this and that. And yeah, man, I went for it, and like I got some laughs, dude. It was like, it went well, bro. And I was like,
bomb.
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I didn't crush, but I didn't bomb. And I was like, well, people were feeling me. I was like, and I was like, I wasn't nervous on stage. That was the one thing. It was like a lot of people had stage fright, but it was like, I've always like, with hanging out with the friends or at a bar, you're on stage, you know?
Yeah,
you're kind of like,
you
know what I mean?
You like to entertain people a little bit, get the attention, you know?
Forever. Even though I hadn't done it like on stage, it was like, yes.
You were chubby back then as well, you know? You had to be funny, bro. I know how it is.
For girls, for anything,
you know,
it was
you have to be funny. If you don't fucking play an instrument and you're not fucking ripped, you have to be funny, dude.
Bro. I had to be funny. That was
the same thing, bro.
You know, bro. You know. Humor, and it'll make you can be in the worst situation, but you ever been in like situations so bad you just laugh.
No, but that's with a lot of people, a lot of comedians. They draw from pain and they draw from trauma, and just, bro, I remember in one of the hardest times in my life, a year and a half back, in the hospital with my daughter. It was really bad, bro, and I still made a joke, like. After that, I fucking broke down and cried. But all these doctors looked at me like,
now? And you're like, you have to. You're like,
you know, we're all trying to fucking, you know, but now you say something like that, bro. But, you know, that's sometimes the only thing to help you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I don't laugh about this right now, I'm going to go crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
Can't handle it. It's like, and sometimes you just gotta laugh at life, bro. It just it does some stuff that you're like, of course. You're like, you know, like I can't even be mad, dude. It's that's it. And yeah, man. And so it kind of started the journey from there. And then once I was doing the comedy, I felt like I had my art, and I could take like funny situations and kind of tell that story on stage. And yeah, it's just gone from there, man. I really I wish I could do more of it. I don't have the time like I do, and like I respect the people that really do it, because it's a grind, bro. It is such a real grind.
But that's with a lot of things. If you want to take it to the next level, you have to really take the time and go for it, and maybe sacrifice some other cool shit you were doing, you know, and then you can't go fucking climbing every day after you go for a run or whatever.
I can't wake up
this or that, you know? Right? That's too much. But that's the thing. If you want to, you can handle a few things at once, but if you really want to excel at something, you have to make a lot of time for it, and that's difficult sometimes. But you do it enough for us to enjoy here. For example, at the Kade, I've been to a few of your comedy shows here with a few cool comics. We were just talking about it before the show, bro. I've laughed so hard. I've met some cool new people here as well. You know, that's a thing, bro. And no, but not only the comedians, it also brought out other people that are not necessarily interested in the sessions, like when we do them, but then they come for something like a comedy night because it's also for smokers. And they are like, hey, wait, it's actually pretty cool hanging out. Let's come to a session more often, or do some other activities or whatever. Also,
exactly. So someone will come with their girl.
I come with my girl,
exactly, man, and you have a great time, right? Everybody laughs. I mean, what's better than a
There's a lot of couples in the audience. That's cool. Yeah, and we laughed a lot. That's cool. Do you have a cool stoner joke you could
Oh man, you know that's really
fucked up.
This is no. This is like the cliche thing not to do to a comedian, right. But that's it's like, oh, you're a comedian, tell me a joke. Yeah.
Do something. Oh, you're a singer, sing a song. You know?
No man, but I will tell you a story. How about that? I'll tell you a funny story, man.
I love that.
Did I tell you about what happened to me in Thailand or no?
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah,
I could tell it again, or
yeah.
Okay,
that's hella funny.
Oh man!
Wow, that was that was a hell of a story. The fuck?
Oh man, it was all of an experience.
One of those situations you have to laugh yourself out of.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
It's yeah, man. So I went to Thailand this year, and you know, they legalized there. I wanted to go see the situation, and I'm in Thailand, and so in Bangkok now you have tons of dispensaries or coffee shops everywhere. But you start to go outside the city, and it gets much more rural. It's just like very like normal day life. There's no more tourism and stuff. Like I was outside now. There's like a train market, and this was like 2 hours outside of Bangkok. And so there was only one dispensary there. It's just very local. Like when I'm walking up, it's like through a very busy market, but there's no tourism. It's just very much like with animals and crazy stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like I was like, oh man, it's already like culture shock. It's just
loud,
something very
stinking.
different. Exactly. And I've been in big cities and everything, but this is like Asia big city. And so I go to this one shop, and I'm like, okay, you know, I need some flour. And so like I hadn't smoked all day. I'm looking through, and they actually had some nice strains, dude. There's actually some great growers there, a lot of Cali guys going out there, even Dutch guys, a lot of industry going. But I actually found some permanent marker, and dude, it looked fire, bro. And it was grown right, good structure, everything. Smelled it. I was like, dude, let me get a gram of that. Perfect, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking, and he only has like a little like tiny cigarette papers, like really small. I was like, oh, I don't want to use those. I was like, you have a bong. I'm a bong guy. I love bongs still. And he's like, yeah, there's a bong in the back. All right. So I go to the back, and like I open this little like kind of shady door. It's a little staff area. There's a bong. It had been used a few times, whatever. I see it there. So I grab it, and I pack a bong, smoking. And the guy's there. I'm also with my girl, and they're talking about like, yeah, like you know what I mean, what can you do here? He's like, mango sticky rice, this and that. I'm like, oh, this shit tastes nice, you know, like I pack some more. And then I'm just listening to them talk, and he's like, yeah, I see temples and stuff. And then I'm thinking, man, this shit's good. Like, I'm high, bro. And I think, fuck, bro, like, I'm too high, dude. I think, like, my tolerance is down or something. And then I'm there, and I'm like, whoa. I told my girl, yo, let's go get the sticky rice. And the guy was like, huh? And so we go to walk out. Bro, when I go to walk outside, every step I take, I'm just getting shorter. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm seeing the ground. And so I started walking backwards and getting taller. And my girl's just like, what are you doing? I'm walking back and forth. What I didn't know at the time was someone before me had smoked salvia in this bong. So when I started smoking the weed, there was residue left. So now I'm on like a psychedelic trip in the middle of this freaking city. And I told my chick,
freaking out
and
there.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm tripping balls now. And I told my chick, I was like, yo, don't freak out. But I was like, I am tripping balls right now. We need to get back to the hotel. She's like, what, really? I was like, yeah, I think there was something on the weed. She's like, give me your phone. You have the app on your phone. Dude, I pull out my phone. It was like a spread deck of cards. I had like 1,000 phones. And so I'm like, I'm overwhelmed by how many phones I have. And I tell her like, yo, I'm like, here, fix it. I'm like, I don't know which phone to give her. She's like, just stop moving your hand and I'll take the phone. And so like, yeah, she's dealing with the address. And so at this time, bro, I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I get like crazy cotton mouth, like to the point where I don't know why, but I felt like my mouth was like closing in on itself. If I didn't get a drink, like I wasn't gonna be able to open my mouth again. I told my girl like, yo, 7-Eleven, I need a drink. We walk inside, and I just hear like, Bro, my sound is gone. I can't hear anymore, dude. I'm walking around, bro. I grab the drink. She's still trying to order the taxi. I get the drink. I take a drink. And as we're walking to the counter, it just all fades, bro. Back to like normal. And because if you know, bro, like salvia, it doesn't last that long, but it's super intense.
Like 10 minutes or something.
And if you're not ready for it, it felt like an eternity. Not 5 minutes.
Hilarious, bro. Imagine that in a city you're already tripping at.
Oh, bro, it was a nightmare, dude. But crazy. Yeah. I was just like, keep calm. I was like, don't freak out.
Bro. So funny, bro. Wow.
Oh man, never smoke a dirty bong.
Never smoke a dirty bong. Like, let's get a lesson out of this. Sounds great, man. Wow. No, but that's actually one of the funniest stories I've ever heard. Like, mostly when people start telling travel stories, I'm like, yeah, you had a great time. Good for you.
Yeah.
You know, but this is actually something you want to listen to. Yeah, that's funny. You have another comedy night coming out soon here, right?
Yeah, bro. We are going to do a roast here. Kade asked us to do a roast. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a bunch of local comedians from around here, and we're all going to get together. We're going to do like a bracket. I'm going to host it, and yeah, we're also going to do audience decides who wins. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it now. When you're coming in, you're going to get a number. We're going to do random draws for each round, and you guys are going to decide who moves on.
Super cool.
Yeah, and we're going to have one winner at the end, and yeah, we're going to see. It's going to be a fun night. Personally, man, I love roasting. I love talking some shit. So,
bro, I love comedy. I already got my ticket. I'm ready. September 6th. Are there still tickets available?
There might be, dude. A few. Get in there while you can. Believe me, it's not one to miss, bro. It's really not one to miss. It's gonna be great. Shout out to Kade for letting us put this on, and yeah, man,
super
it's gonna
cool.
be a lot of fun.
And it's a very cool shop for that, and I think that's something that I really think it's cool that you do these things at coffee shops, because we do need these activities more. It helps build the community. It helps strengthen the community. It helps show the need, the necessity, and the benefits of a coffee shop, a place to consume at, and to be able to be yourself. Like, we are smokers, you know. We like to watch a movie while getting high.
Yeah.
I don't like to go to the cinema, like, because I sit there. I'm like, I need it. That's what I like about sitting fucking Netflix, binge watching, just having a smoke, rolling up another, you know? And that's the same with comedy. It's great to sit in a theater, but it's greater even to sit in a coffee shop, be able to smoke a joint and enjoy one of the things you like to see, or whatever, you know?
No, I love it, man, and like that's the most exciting part for me.
Can coffee shops get in touch with you if they would like to do a comedy night at their shop?
Dude, I would be happy to help people do that. That's yeah, of course.
That would be dope.
I would love to organize it, because for me, it helps the shops. It creates community events. It helps the comedians get a bigger platform. That's what I really do it for, man. That's what I enjoy. You know,
it brings a lot of things together. It's cool.
Exactly, man. It's super fun, and like that. I also want to show people, like you see with the climbing, with everything, we could do some other stuff.
Yeah,
I love to get together with the homies, smoke, and do other stuff. And it's like 100%. This is one of them, man. And it's great, dude. It's I want more of this. You know, I love what you guys are doing with the 710 and everything. It's like every year the community is really leveling up, man. I did want to really say, dude, the Netherlands, man. I have to say the biggest shout out, because I really feel like they have one of the biggest communities, man. We really get behind each other, dude. It really, when you look at it, it's like all the guys doing stuff, we support each other. And then you see, like, also with the Rip Tip tour, it was a good example, man. Like, you went to city after city and
Shout out to Global Butler and Bradley.
That's super cool initiative, bro. I love that, dude, because it was like, you went to town after town and you saw all, like, the guys who traveled with it, and you saw the local community, and you're like, man, it's like, we really do have a community here. And it's like, a lot of other places you see it splintered, and I think together, man, we can level up so much together. Unity in the community, bro.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that might be a beautiful I think that might be a beautiful note to end the podcast on. It's a really strong statement. I think that it's important also to stick together and support each other. Think of new cool things to do, and don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, don't be afraid to do it together, because by yourself, you only have that much capacity, and by doing stuff together, you create a synergy, and you're able to do so much more and go to greater heights. Climbing pun. And let's
climb high together.
Yeah, let's get more healthy towards 2025 and create a healthier cannabis community in its whole, you know?
Yeah, man. Stay positive, motivate each other to be healthy, to chase our passions, do more things, man. That's what it's about, dude. And I think 100%. It's awesome. And it's, yeah, man, your podcast, what you're doing, it's really cool. It's creating a platform to bring those people together, dude. You're creating that community.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we couldn't have done it without all the people watching and supporting from day one. Please keep doing that. Share, like, subscribe, and everything, because we need your interaction for the algorithms, because all these platforms hate cannabis content. And of course, also the sponsors that make it happen for us, the partners, excuse me, to make it happen this season. I want to thank Mascotte for giving us the papers to smoke with, Sensi Seeds for giving us the seeds to grow with, and Pot Minoids for giving us the pot to cook with, because I couldn't rhyme that one. That's it. And I want to thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank the crew for making it happen today, and thank you again for being here, brother. Much love. Really, I look forward to the comedy night, and stay tuned for a new episode coming soon, where we're going to do something real cool, because it's the season finale, the next one. So that's going to be super cool. Stay tuned for something else. Much love. Later. Mike.
Awesome,
it's nice, huh?
I hope we got some good
Thanks,
stuff.
Bro. I love it, bro. I love it when a guest just has fucking stuff to talk about, you know?
Yeah, I hope I didn't
love
talk
it,
too
bro.
much.
No, man, I love it, bro.
Really
Thank you, bro.
No,
100%.